Are you appreciating the evolution of your desire? And do you believe you are getting better and better at keeping up with that expanding desire? And can you feel how when you want something but you don't believe it, how uncomfortable it is? And how when you want something and you are willing to stand by in an attitude of satisfaction while it becomes manifested, while the vibration of your desire turns into a reality that you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch, there is a process of becoming, isn't there? And do you feel happy during that process or agitated that it's taking too long? Because there's an important key in there. If you can find a way to stay satisfied as it unfolds, then it doesn't matter if it unfolds quickly. You see, we tricked you there. You thought we were going to say, if you stay satisfied, it will unfold faster. And while that's true, if that's your motivation, then you're taking score about how fast it's unfolding and you're not that satisfied. But if you are really savoring the phases of the becoming, a better way of saying that is if you are satisfied in your current ability to receive your current inspiration, to receive your current impulses, and if that's enough for now, if there's not this big gap that you have decided, I want to be over there and I'm over here, and therefore I want to be over there and I'm over here, and I really want to be over there, and someday I'll be over there, blah, 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 blah. Someday I'll be over there and it'll be good when I'm over there, but right now I'm over here, without what's over there. It's so painful to be over here without what's over there. But if you are over here on your way to over there, if you are over here believing and trusting and knowing that the full manifestation is on its way to you, and more important, most important, if you are enjoying your new awarenesses, your new abilities to perceive a little more. Is any of this making sense to you? We want it to. But in order for it to really make sense to you, you've got to remember or understand that you are a vibrational being first and foremost. And that there is so much that is going on with you that is thought-based and therefore emotionally based. But most humans, we love you so much, have forgotten that you are vibration, and you have forgotten that you are a creator, and you have become rather impatient about things that you want to experience not yet being here, or things that you don't want to experience being here. If your now reality doesn't have the aspects of it that you want, if what you're observing is not pleasing to you, then you hold yourself without knowing it, without realizing that you're doing it often. You hold yourself in a place where it cannot be realized by you because what you're realizing opposes it. If you are noticing that you don't have enough money, if that's your realization and if that's your conversation, and you say, well, why wouldn't it be? Because it's my experience, and shouldn't I face reality? And we say, to a certain extent, but you didn't really come to face reality. You came to create reality. And the problem with facing reality is it prevents you from creating an improved reality. If you've got your attention so much on your problem or so much on your question that you can't perceive the answer, then you hold yourself sometimes in a holding pattern where not much really changes in your experience. Different faces move through your experience, and different places are your experience, but not much really changes in terms of how your life feels or what your net joy really is. But once you begin to remember, to acknowledge that you're a vibrational being, and that as this vibrational being in your physical body, that you are an extension of that bigger, larger vibrational you, And that non-physical part of you that existed before you extended into this body still exists non-physically and is still a part of you, still is the source part of you, still is an energy flowing, interested in you part of you. Once you realize that there is a part of you that is non-physically focused while you are physically focused, then you may begin to notice the vibrational relationship between what that larger part of you knows right here, right now about what you're about and what you are knowing. In other words, your inner being and you are moving through this space and time together, having often very different opinions about how it's going. Because your inner being is always joyful in your becoming. Your inner being enjoys every phase of you allowing more of what you want to manifest. You may be getting the sense that as we are using Esther's gestures, that we are demonstrating your manifested world about over here. This is your now reality with all the stuff you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch. And you are constantly on your way to a new reality relative to all of the subjects of your life experience. And on some of these subjects, you're well along the way and it's just about ready to burst into your full awareness where you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it, and so can others. But some of your creations, you just figured them out a little bit. They're in the early stages. And so you want to say, well, it's much less satisfying over here in the beginning understanding or realization or letting it in. And it's much more satisfying once it pops into my full awareness. Esther said that to us not that long ago, Abraham. I know you want us to talk about the vortex, and I know you want us to talk about our vibrational reality, and I know you want us to realize that we've created all kinds of things through the contrast of our life. We've created a vibrational reality that is in the state of becoming. But I got to tell you, Abraham, Esther said to us loudly one day, I really like manifestations. And we want her to understand in you that there are lots of phases of manifestations before the full manifestation where you'll realize it with all of your physical senses. And if you can stop feeling lack until it's full blown, then you're going to be having a much more joyful experience along the way. It's getting ready to be ready, to be ready, to be ready. But it's also satisfied with this and this and this and this. It's the living happily ever after recipe. I'm happy here with the new awareness that I just received. And I'm happy over here with the beautiful new vehicle in my garage too. I'm really happy with that for a minute. Because you see, and this is the thing that we so want you to hear, once something manifests, you've chewed most of the juice out of that gum. And perfectly and happily, there's plenty more juice in the process of becoming. So we're doing a little sales job here because we want you to feel happy about you being here. We want you to feel happy about you being a creator. We want you to feel happy about the contrast that helps you to create. We want you to feel happy about knowing what you don't want so that you can know more clearly what you do want. And we want you to feel happy about the rockets of desire that shoot out of you all day, every day, and form this vibrational reality that then becomes reality if you let it. We want you to know that when you know what you don't want, and therefore you send off a rocket of desire about what you do want, that larger part of you, your inner being, receives with clarity your asking and stands in full awareness of that asking and becomes a full vibrational harmonic component to that asking. When you ask, it is given, and that's how. You ask, and the inner being part of you embraces it and becomes it, and then offers a vibration to you about it, which you must receive. That's the reason that we're here talking with you today, is because you've got to get into that receiving mode. You have to get into that receiving mode so that once you've launched the rocket, you can become a vibrational match to its current state of being. And many of you want to say, well, its current state of being is not that satisfying because its current state of being is still in the state of becoming. And we say, well, really, it's you that's in the state of becoming. It's you getting ready for it. It's ready. Once you launched it, it joined with other things that you want, and it became a broadcasting beam that you could translate into reality right now if you were ready. And we don't want you to feel uncomfortable about not being ready. How are you doing with this conversation? The reason we ask is because you like manifestations. And we're not talking about those full-blown manifestations. We're talking about awarenesses and hunches and instincts and impulses. We're talking about ideas. We're talking about you enjoying your evolution of perspective. Because you think this world is this tangible, real, knock on wood, see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it world, but it only is that because of your ability to perceive it. And if we can get you to just start enjoying your earlier perceptions so that you don't need the full manifestation to be satisfied, well then you're off and running. Then more things are going to be manifesting in your experience all the time, and the people who know you will be quite amazed at how they just barely heard you begin speaking about something, and now there it is in your experience being enjoyed by you. But they will also notice how much less edgy you are, and how much more happy you are, and how much more alert you are, and refreshed you are, and vital you are, and receptive you are, and how much better your timing is, and how in the right place at the right time you are, and how your coordinating with other people is so improved, and how in love with life you are. In other words, when you begin to activate all of those receptors so that you're on the same wavelength as your inner being, then life gets really good for you. Because your inner being, that's us, your inner beings, your inner being knows where you stand in terms of your physical allowance of the manifestation, knows where you stand in your physical body, in your physical human personality that you know as you. Your inner being knows where you stand in relationship to everything you've been asking for. Your inner being knows how ready you are, which another way of saying that is, your inner being knows how much resistance you've got on that point and that point and that point and that point and that point. Some subjects you have little or no resistance, so you just move joyfully along and good things keep happening on that subject. Some things you have a lot of resistance, so you just trip over them and trip over them and trip over them till you don't even like them. Simple things like, so Esther gave a piece of her luggage away to a friend, and then she ordered a new piece like it for herself, but the new piece like it had been discontinued. If I'd known that. Hello, friend, can you give that back to me? So, Esther ordered a new piece of luggage. Well, she's decided with some experience that it might not have been a real new piece of To-Me luggage because the wheel came off right away. Now that doesn't happen with To-Me. And then the zipper broke. Just weird things began happening. So repair. So yesterday morning, she's getting ready to zip up her bag. Everything's in it, carefully packed. And she went to zip her bag, and the zipper came right off in her hand. Now there was a zipper that would come around the other way, but she thought, that may not be trustworthy. And when the airline gets my bag, and they paw through it as they like to do, can you feel Esther's resistance in the words that we are repeating of hers? When the delightful airline people paw through my bag, They might not get it zipped back up, and I may end up with my panties on the conveyor belt.